Okay, can everybody see my handy dandy little cover slide here? You should see something with some flip flops on it and what looks like kind of cross stitch there. It was the closest thing I could find to something that was crisscross. So if everybody can see that, I'm going to move on here to the subject today, which is inverted minors. I know if you don't use them, you've probably heard people talk about them. So let's start here with some basics on major suit openings. For instance, when your partner opens a major, if you give a simple raise, you've shown your partner at least 3 card support and 6 to 9 points in your hand. A raise to the 3 level shows 4 card support and a hand worth 10 to 12. So I mean, they're either a really good 10 or a really bad 12. In other words, that's a limit raise. That's major suit bidding. And after the limit raise, openers expected to bid game with anything extra, but to pass the 3 level bid if he's a dead minimum. We also teach people to avoid playing a game in the minor suit, to try to play no trump as the second choice. You know, this is reasonable. 9-trick games are easier to make than 11-trick games are. And if you can make 11 tricks in a minor, many times you can make 11 tricks in no trump. And of course, the no trump contract scores a lot better. And then one day, you're sitting there just very politely minding your own business at the bridge table, and along comes this hand right here that I put down. This is a decent opening hand. It has 14 high card points in it, doesn't it? And got a couple of aces and honors working together, got decent spot cards. This is really a better than average minimum here. So if I'm the opener, I'm going to open this hand 1 diamond. Your partner bids 3 diamonds. And you think, oh, okay, my partner has a limit raise and has 4 or 5 diamonds at least. Do I want to play diamonds? Well, I've been indoctrinated. You know, I drank the Kool-Aid, so I say, no, I don't think I want to bid 5 diamonds. I have 14 high card points, which is more than the minimum. So when my partner gives me a limit raise, I'm going to accept. Only I'm not going to accept in diamonds. I'm going to bid 3 no trump. And before anybody asks me, aren't you worried about hearts? My partner will have hearts for me. I'm not worried about it. And besides that, even if he doesn't, the opponents have to find the suit to lead. You know, a partner of mine is fond of saying, if the opponents haven't given you a reason to worry about a suit, don't worry about it. How do they give you a reason to worry about it? They bid it. So now if one of my opponents had bid hearts, then I would not be looking to bid no trump. I'd be looking to ask my partner if partner had a heart stop. But that's not the case here. Why did I not show that 4-card spade suit there? Anybody have a thought?
Partner denied having 4 cards in the majors.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You should never give any kind of a raise to your partner. That's when he's bid a minor suit. If you have a 4-card major to show, remember that's responder's first obligation, unless he has a fully opening hand and you bid 2 over 1 or something, and you want to set the game for us first. Responder's first obligation when his partner opens a minor suit is to show a 4-card major if he has one. That's why when my partner gives me a limit raise in diamonds, he has denied having 4 hearts or 4 spades. So it does me no good to mention my spades here. If partner had 4 spades, I'd be knowing about it. So I look at this hand and I say, 3 no trump looks pretty good to me. So that's what I bid. Here comes my partner's hand. Notice he has hearts stopped. You know, amazing how that works out, isn't it? He has a spade honor for me, a nice fitting diamond honor with 5 cards in the diamond suit, and his club suit is kind of not so hot, and mine's not so hot, but at least the lead is coming up to my hand. Nobody can lead through my hanging king in clubs. This holding right here in the opening hand that has king and one or two small ones with it is called a hanging king. Hanging kings are vulnerable to a lead through them. If the person on your left has the ace, that king is dead in the water. And since that's my only club stop, I want it protected. The lead's going to come up to my hand, so it's all good. The opening lead cannot hurt me in clubs. So if the opponents get cute and say, well, nobody bid clubs here, I believe I'll lead a club, at least this king is protected. I'll either get a trick with it, or my right-hand opponent will play the ace, and then I can hold up my king until I have to play it. So here I am with a protected honor in clubs, and my partner's given me a very nice hand. It's only 12 points, but I have 14. So we have the magic 26, and I'm still in good shape. I have my contract, and I can move right on down the road. Now then, later on, I pick up the same hand. It's not liable to happen, but you can pick up one that's very similar, certainly when you're playing in, say, a game of 24 or 27 boards. But here's that same hand again, and my partner once again bids 3 diamonds. And I say, well, it worked first time, let's do it again, 3 no trump. And then here's what I have for a dummy. This is not so hot, is it? I have 5 diamond tricks and 3 club tricks, but my hearts are wide open. I have the ace of spades, but if the opponents lead a heart, they're liable to rip off the first 5 tricks because I only have 4 of them. They have 9. Somebody's got to have at least 5. So they're liable to rip off the first 5 heart tricks, and yuck. Well, rats. This didn't work out well. Why did it work the first time and not the second? So I decide to go look and see what everybody else did. I do that by looking at the board travelers, whether it's on ACBL's club results page or through Pianola or the common game or however you get your hand records that you can look at. And I see that almost everybody was in 3 no trump on that first board making. But on the second one, there were some who were in 3 no trump, just as my partner and I were. But some of the other folks, in fact, a goodly number of them, managed to stop in the diamond partial. How did they avoid 3 no trump? Well, they were probably playing inverted minor raises. That sounds a good deal more complicated than it is. What's an inverted minor raise anyway? Well, it just signifies that after the opening bid of one of a minor, the meanings of 2 of the minor and 3 of the minor are inverted or turned upside down, turned around, so that a raise to 2 of the minor suit is a limit raise or better. There is no ceiling on that 2 minor bid. Partner could have 20 points over there. The important thing to remember is it is a 1-round force. Unlike when you play regular minor suit raises, 1 minor, 2 minor signifies, well, I have good support for you, but I have a weak hand. Now when partner bids 2 of the minor, he's saying, I have a limit raise or better. With diamonds, I have at least 4 card support. With clubs, I have 5 card support. You really need to have 5 cards when you raise clubs because you open on 3 clubs way more often than you do having only 3 diamonds in your hand. And the other important aspect about the responder's hand is he has no 4-card major suit. If he had a 4-card major suit, he would bid that one first. So a raise to the 3 level then is preemptive. And when I say preemptive, I mean preemptive. 4 to 7 high card points. I bet there are a lot of you who don't respond with only 4 points in your hand. But when you're using a preemptive raise of your partner's suit, it is permissible to use that scale, or even 3 to 7 points. As long as you and your partner have agreed, then you can use whatever point range you think is appropriate for a preemptive raise. Preemptive raises signify weak hands. So don't be afraid to do it with a weak hand. Do you expect to make your bid when you've used a preemptive raise? I don't. If we make it, hey, that's just that's just a little butter on the bread, right? That's just gravy to me. Wonderful if we made the bid. But what I'm trying to accomplish with a preemptive bid, whether it's an opening bid or a preemptive raise, is to block out the opponents, to make it just as difficult as possible for them to find a fit, because it's a pretty safe bet that they have the balance of power in their hands. So if I can block them out, make it hard for them, maybe they end up in the wrong contract. That makes me very happy. So I don't mind going off a trick or two if the opponents had something they could make that would have given them more points than what I gave them by going off. So I don't, when my raises are preemptive, if we make the bid, great. If not, hopefully it was the right thing to do. Now that leaves some middling hands here. If you use 3 to 7 or 4 to 7 for the preemptive raise, what if I have 8 or 9 points? That hand is a little too good to preempt. Little too good. Hands with 8 or 9 high card points should respond 1 no trump to start. This is a more descriptive bid than using 3 to 9 for your preemptive raises. When you use a big range like that, it's really hard for your partner to know if he's got 14, 15, or 16 points and couldn't open no trump because of the shape of his hand, for instance. He doesn't know whether he can go on or not if you have a big range. So if you have 8 or 9 high card points, it really is helpful for the responder to bid 1 no trump at his first turn. If the opponents compete, as they often do, following a 1 no trump response by the responder, then with 5 cards in that minor suit, you could certainly compete in the minor suit later on, since you do have support. If you didn't have support, then you wouldn't be able to compete later on. But this is a good way to handle a hand that's really a little too strong to give a preemptive raise, but isn't quite good enough to give the limit raise. Start with 1 no trump instead. Might that possibly wrong side a contract? It might, but that's a secondary consideration. Now, here are some examples. If you and your partner have agreed to play inverted minor bids, there's a place on the convention card to mark it, and you will notice that it's in red. Inverted minor bids are alertable. Many people are familiar with them, so they may just look at you and say inverted, and you just nod and go on. But they are alertable, definitely alertable. So if your partner opens 1 diamond, this is definitely a 2 diamond response. Notice there are 13 points in it, no 4 card major, and 5 card diamond support. With this many points and your partner's having an opening hand, you're going to force to game here, holding this hand. However, take that king of spades out of there. You still have 10 points with 5 card support, but you're a little short. This is a limit raise only. But you won't force to game. You'll try to sign off in 2 no trump or 3 of 3 diamonds unless your partner shows extras. If he has a dead minimum opening hand, only 10 high card points in your hand is not enough to insist on game. This hand is what I like to call a tweener. here. It's not a preemptive raise. It is not a limit raise at all. And it's really too good for a simple raise. So if you start by bidding one no trump here, then you could certainly compete to 3 diamonds later on if the opponents decide to stick their noses in. Because you have good support for partner, even if he has only 3 cards in the suit. And now here we have a hand that's a good example of a preemptive raise to 3 diamonds. Note there are only 5 high card points in it, but there are 5 diamonds, and there's a doubleton in the heart suit. Partner may not have a great chance to make 3 diamonds, but it's often better to bid 3 diamonds going off a trick than to let the opponents play in a nice, comfortable part score in a major suit, like 2 hearts or 2 spades. If you're in the habit of letting your opponents play in their nice, comfortable fit at the 2 level, you're probably getting some not so great results. I like to abide by the principle of, if the opponents have found a fit and stopped bidding at the 2 level, that generally means they have about half the points in the deck. That means my partner and I have about half the points in the deck. So I seldom want to pass, say, a 1 heart pass, 2 hearts pass. If I'm sitting in that balancing seat, if I have anything at all, I'm going to either bid a suit or double, asking my partner to bid his suit. We may not make it, but I'm going to give the opponents 110 points, most likely, if I let them play it. I'm happy to give them just 50 if I go down a trick. So try not to be too afraid of going down when you bid 3 diamonds with a hand like this. It's not awful if you go down, unless you go down 3. Then you might think, oh, well, didn't work this time, but nothing works every time. Bear that in mind. Nothing works every single time. Here's some more things to know about inverted minor raises. They are alertable, as I said earlier. Both the raise to the 2 level and the 3 level should be alerted. If you're playing online, you type the alert in the alert box, as I'm sure you're all familiar with. And if you're at the club and you're playing a face-to-face game, then it's the bidder's partner who alerts it. For instance, in this case, it would be the opener who would alert it, because this bid is responder's bid. Now, what happens when the opponents interfere in the auction? It is really, really common for opponents to interfere these days, if they can at all. When I first started playing bridge, and I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was, it was almost considered rude to start bidding once the opponents had opened the auction. There just was not very much competitive bidding that went on at all. That is not the case anymore. Some people are just fearless and will bid on air. So you have to be prepared, and you and your partner need to discuss how you're going to use your bids that are off when the opponents interfere, how you're going to bid in that case. So inverted minor raises are off if the opponents bid a suit. For instance, if you're the opening bidder and you open one of a minor suit, your left-hand opponent overcalls 1 spade. 2 spades is now the limit raise. That is a Q bid of the opponent's suit, and this is a really common way to show a limit raise or better. And since you're raising partner's minor suit, it promises the required number of cards. If that had been a major suit that your partner opened, a Q bid of their suit would have shown 3 or 4 card support. But when you've opened a minor, 3 card support isn't adequate. 4 card support is the absolute minimum. It's usually okay for diamonds, but if you didn't have any other way to show your hand and you had support for partners' clubs, and no major suit to bid, and you don't have a stopper in the opponent's suit, then using that Q bid there is the way to go. It'll describe your hand without promising anything that you really don't have. Now, if the responder has 4 hearts in his hand, and obviously he can't bid them at the 2 level because that requires 5. I hope all of you remember that. Then the negative double takes priority over supporting openers minor. Always, always, always a major suit, a bid that shows a major suit takes priority over raising opener's minor suit. If you have 6 to 9 points, the standard amount for a minimum raise, and 4 or more cards in your partner's minor suit, just bid 2 of the minor. This is comparable to the old simple raise of a major suit. It shows basically the same thing, 6 to 9 points with the required number of cards in the hand to support opener's minor. This is just the original meaning of a simple raise. That's all it is. If you hold 3 to 7 high card points and 5 or more cards in opener's minor, why am I so insistent on 5 cards? Because I know that sometimes we're going to do it with 4, but we all need to understand that the preferred number to have is 5, particularly when you're bidding preemptively. Most of the time when your partner opens 1 diamond, in fact, a very high percentage of the time, 97%, if you use convenient minor opening bids, that is, if you have 3 of each minor, you open a club. If you have 4 of each minor, you open a diamond. Otherwise, open the longer one. Then when you open a diamond, 97% of the time, you will have at least 4 of them. The other 3% is left for the hands that are 4, 4, 3, 2. That's the only time that you will open 1 diamond with only 3 cards in the diamond suit. So it's a pretty safe bet if your partner opens 1 diamond that he has 4 of them. But if I'm making a preemptive raise, I really, really want to have 5, if at all possible. But as you've heard me say many times, this is not a perfect world, and no bidding system is perfect either. So if you otherwise have the requirements for a preemptive raise and you have only 4, it's up to you and your partner's bidding style. That is, how tolerant is your partner for bad scores? And you have agreed that it's okay to bid it preemptively with only 4 card support, then by all means go for it. Some people are willing to take more risk than others. And you and your partner need to talk about your style. Are you conservative, or do you not mind shooting from the hip sometimes? Lots of times those aggressive bids are rewarded, but there are some times when you can go for a number when you step out there and make a risky bid. So you just have to be prepared for the results that you get. And as long as you and your partner have agreed on what you're doing, then I say go for it. Not everybody has my bidding style, and you don't need to. Different strokes for different folks, as they say, and it's certainly true in this game. So raising preemptively retains the new meaning when the opponents have interfered in the auction, because you have the Q bid available to show a limit raise. That's the reason that you can retain the preemptive meaning. We're going to talk about Q bids, the use of Q bids in support of partner suits and some other things as soon as I can finish putting the slide set together that I began this week. I have noticed that a lot of you don't seem to be familiar with Q bids, and they're very, very useful. And they look scary. It's scary to bid the opponent's suit. But as long as you and your partner understand that all strange bids are forcing, and Q bids are definitely strange bids, then if you forget ever what one of your partner's bids means, for goodness sakes, don't pass. If you don't know what it means, make the natural bid that you have, the best natural bid that you can make. If nothing else, return to your suit. But don't pass a Q bid ever. That's a free tip for today. Now, what if the opponents double? What if the opponents double? This is a bit of a different animal. There's another bid that's available to us when the opponents have inserted a double here. It's called Jordan. You may remember that we talked about it when we were discussing some of the major suit bids earlier. Most of you are familiar with Jacoby 2 no trump, but you know that Jacoby 2 no trump is off if one of the opponents bids. So sometime back, 2 or 3 people, Mr. Jordan and then Dorothy Hayden Truscott, also thought of using 2 no trump over one of a major and double to signify 4-card support and a limit raise or better. So it's very similar to Jacoby 2 no trump. The only difference is you only need limit raise values, 4-card support, and the opponents have to have interfered with the double. This bid can be used with minor suits as well. So if you want to do that instead of talking about a special set of bids when your partner's opened one of a minor and you play inverted minors and you were planning to use it, then consider Jordan over minors. Not everybody plays Jordan over the minor suits, but some years back, my partner and I were playing Jordan over the minors, and we found 6 diamonds that way using Jordan. So it can be very, very useful in situations like that. You can redouble to show 10 or more points. Remember, we talked about redoubling a couple of weeks ago. If you don't want to add another bid to your convention card, you can just redouble. Remember, redouble says nothing about whether you have a fit. It just tells partner, this hand belongs to us. If they play in something, they're going to play in a doubled contract. Otherwise, we're going to buy the bid and we're going to play the hand. So whether you use Jordan over one of a minor and double is strictly up to you and your partner. It's subject to partnership agreement. So don't make any assumptions about it without talking with your partner. Now, a bid of 2 of the minor still shows 6 to 9 high card points, 4 or 5 card support, and no 4-card major. If you have a 4-card major, just pretend that your right-hand opponent didn't double. Just ignore it and bid that 4-card suit that you have. Yeah, when he doubled, he implied that he had support for the unbid suits, but it might be only 3-card support in the major that you have. So don't let somebody's take out double talk you out of showing a 4-card major suit when you have it. Now, and then a bid of 3 of the minor is preemptive. If you don't want to use Jordan to show the limit raise, you have the redouble available to you. Now,
Susan, before you go
on. I'm sorry, Rick, did somebody have a question?
Yeah, we've had some conversation in the chat here. Sue asks, when you alert, how do you word that?
It's preferable that you not say that's an inverted minor raise. It's preferable not to name the convention. For instance, if your partner opens a diamond, pass, and you bid 2 diamonds, your partner should say that's a limit raise with 4 or 5 card support and no 4-card major. Describe the bid rather than saying it's inverted. Many people will know what it is if you say inverted, but you may be playing at a table with some relatively inexperienced pairs, And so it's always better to explain specifically what the alert is, what it means, and not the name of the convention.
Should you include like how many high card points it represents?
No, you can just say limit raise, or you can, if it's preemptive, and somebody says, well, what does 3 of the minor mean? Then you can say it shows a weak hand and it is preemptive.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I go on? Nope. Okay. What's the advantage of using this? This is a whole bunch of new bids I have to memorize, and why in the world do I want to do it? The principal advantage is the amount of bidding space that it gives the partnership to explore the possibility of a 3 no trump contract. Remember, we'd rather play 3 no trump than 5 of a minor, but you need to have stoppers when you do that, right? Or at least something resembling stoppers in the other suits. So now, because we know that the opener doesn't have a 5-card major because he opened a minor, and we know that the responder doesn't have a 4-card major, well, we don't need to use the major suit bids to show length. They can be used to show a stopper. And that's what you do following that limit raise 2 of a minor bid. A good way to play that is to agree that the 2nd and 3rd bids following the raise to the 2 level show stoppers, and that the 4th one asks for a stopper. In other words, if responders rebid, this is the 4th bid. Opener has opened, responder bid, opener rebid, and now we're back to responder again. If he doesn't bid no trump and he bids that other suit, he's asking for a stopper, because if he had it, he would bid no trump. And if at any time, once one of the partners has shown a stopper, one of them can bid 3 no trump, you should do it. I think it's Larry Cohen that says, or it might be Bob Hammond, or anyway, it's one of the well-known experts who says, if 3 no trump crosses your mind as a possible bid, it's probably what you should do. You should probably just go ahead and bid. So let's take another look now at some of the hands that we talked about a little bit earlier, and watch how this works. The hand on your left is the opener. The hand on your right is the responder. Opener bids 1 diamond. Next person passes, and here's 2 diamonds. Notice 5-card diamond support, no 4-card major, and look at that hand, 12 high card points. Perfect. Okay, now if you and your partner have agreed to play in the way that I'm telling you here, there are 3 different ways to play inverted minors, but I'm going to tell you the most common one here. Now, opening bidder bids his stoppers up the line. When he skips a suit, he denies a stopper in that suit. So, opening bidder bids 2 spades, saying, I have spades stopped, but I don't have a heart stop. When responder bids 3 hearts, he says, I have a heart stop, but notice I skipped over clubs, partner. I don't have a club stop. Well, opener has the club stop, and he wants the lead to come up to his hand because he's sitting there with that famous hanging king we talked about earlier. Opener rebids 3 no trump. Once he knows there's a heart stop, now he says, don't worry about it. I can cover clubs. So 3 no trump is the final bid. All you have to do is develop a second spade trick, and you have it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've either got to get a trick from the king of clubs, or the easiest way to do it is just take a spade finesse, and then you have another honor left for your 9th trick. So this is an easy 3 no trump. 1 diamond here by the opener in this case. once again, we have 12 high card points in the responder's hand, and he bids 2 diamonds. He has a lovely diamond suit, doesn't he? You may notice that these are the 2 hands that we talked about at the start of this session. When responder bids 2 diamonds, here we have the same thing. Opener says, I have spade stopped, but I have no heart stopped. Now, responder has club stopped very well. He says, I have the club stopped, partner. What do you think? And now opener says, oops, I don't have a heart stop. He does that by going back to 3 of the minor suit. You haven't shown me a heart stop yet, and I don't have one. What do you think? Can we play no trump? Responder says, no, that's a big no, and passes. We can't play 3 no trump. We have discovered that we have stops in 3 of the suits, but no stop in the heart suit. Notice you need this bidding space to find this out. This is the advantage of the inverted minor raise. It gives you the 2 level and the 3 level to investigate the possibility of playing 3 no trump. This is why when our player that was looking at his results here from the 2 hands that we talked about initially went back and looked at the board travelers, this is the way that those pairs who were able to stop in 3 diamonds did it. They play inverted minor raises, and they had the ability to find out that there was no heart stop. So they stopped in 3 diamonds. 3 diamonds has a good shot here, really good shot. But 3 no trump has no play if the opponents get off to a heart lead. Now, admittedly, on this auction, the opponents know that you don't have a heart stop also. This is the big drawback to using this method of playing inverted minors. Not only do you and your partner know where you have stoppers and don't have them, but so do the opponents. That's like hanging up a sign and saying, lead a heart. Now, there's another way to do it. It also shows some stoppers, and that is for the rebid of 2 no trump by the opening bidder shows stoppers in both major suits, but denies having a stopper in the unbid minor. If he had stops in all 3 unbid suits, he'd bid no trump, wouldn't he? He'd bid 3 no trump, most likely, unless he's dead minimum and he's concerned that his partner has only a limit raise. You can play that a rebid of 2 no trump shows stoppers in both major suits, denying a stopper in the unbid minor. It's really common when an opening bidder bids one of a minor that he has a 4-card major and is intent on trying to find the fit initially. But when his partner gives him a raise in his suit, he's announcing that he doesn't have a 4-card major. And so opener can now use the fact that he has stoppers in both majors by bidding 2 no trump. If he has stoppers in only one of them, then he can't bid 2 no trump. If the opener has a really nice hand, instead of bidding 2 no trump, he bids 3 no trump. This is the hand that opens at the 1 level and then jumps to 2 no trump over any 1 level response. He shows that hand by bidding 3 no trump. And then responder can bid on if he has better than a limit raise. But if he doesn't, we stop in 3 no trump. A rebid of a new suit at the 3 level is a splinter bid if you choose to make it so. In every case but one, it will be a junk. Opener promises a solid opening. That means no 11 or 12 point dead minimum here. I'm jumping to the 3 level and I'm showing you shortness in this suit. The reason he's doing that is he suspects that there might be a slam if partner has no wasted values in the suit where he's short. Not everyone plays that the 3-level bid is a splinter. So this is a matter of partnership agreement, but it's a very informative bid. Stoppers are then bid up the line. Failure to bid a suit denies a stopper in the suit that you skipped. The only exception to that is if it goes 1 diamond, 2 diamonds past 4 clubs, that's the splinter. I'm short in clubs, partner. Could we possibly have a slam? He's gone past 3 no trump, if you notice. He says, my hand is not appropriate for a no trump contract. Now, what all this means is that opener doesn't know how high to bid. As is usually the case in an auction, it's responder's job to place the contract. Remember, opener is describer, responder is the decider. Because the responder in this case is the only one who knows whether that single raise was limit raise or a game forcing bid. When the opener shows minimum values, the responder has the responsibility to make sure that the auction doesn't get too high. When his values are invitational only, he should not make a call that takes the auction beyond the 3 level of the original minor suit. But when he has enough for game, no call should be made below the 3 level in the agreed minor that opener might be able to pass. So if the opener's second bid is 2 no trump, guaranteeing that both majors are stopped, then responder, if he's looking for 3 no trump and he has the other minor stopped, he would just bid it. He's the one who makes the call. What if he has has interest in 3 no trump, but only has a partial stopper? What's a partial stopper? Something like queen third in the unbid minor. Then he bids that suit. That tells his partner that it's a partial stopper only. And then if the opener has a partial stopper, say jack third opposite queen third, constitutes a stopper. Opener can use his judgment. The partner has a partial stopper and he has only 3 small cards. He may still feel that 3 no trump is the best spot, because with a good split in the opponent's holdings in that suit, 3 no trump is still a viable contract. But this gets back to that old risk reward ratio thing, and opener has to use his judgment. So here's an example. Opener bids 1 diamond. Next we have a pass, then we have 2 diamonds. Pass, 2 no trump. I didn't bid 3 no trump, so my hand's in the minimum category, and I have both majors stopped. Opponent passes again. Now responder says 3 clubs. I only have a partial stopper. If he didn't have clubs stopped at all, he would return to diamonds. He says, I have a partial stopper in clubs. Do you have anything to help out there? An opener says 3 diamonds. Nope, I think it's better that we quit here at the 3 level. Partial stopper doesn't do it for me. I'm going to be the one playing it. Now that you've announced only a partial stopper in that minor, the lead's going through your hand. And guess what suit the opponents are going to lead? It isn't going to be a major. So, openers rebids after partner has bid 2 of the minor are just to bid stoppers, not 4-card majors. Bid stoppers up the line. 2 diamonds over 2 clubs shows a diamond stop, but says nothing about anything else. 2 hearts shows a heart stopper. but no diamond stopper. 2 spades shows a spade stopper, but no diamond and no heart stopper. 2 no trump shows a minimum balanced hand with both majors stopped. 3 of openers minor is the fallback. The bid that you make when you don't have any other bid to call, that you don't have the ability, you don't have both major suits stop, your stoppers in the majors are questionable. What you have is a good long diamond suit with a little bit outside. So if the opener just returns to 3 of the minor, sometimes that means he opened with only 11 high card points, and he wants to slow the auction down. That's a good way to do it. Or if he bids 3 no trump, he shows a hand that was too strong to open 1 no trump, and I have all unbid suits stopped. Now, if you have everything but 1 suit stopped, you're still free to go through and show your stoppers. But I have one partner in particular who doesn't like to show his stoppers at all. He says, all you're doing is giving information to the opponents. Yes, you're giving it to your partner, but when you give it to your partner, you're also giving it to the opponents. Let's make them try to find what the suit that they need to lead. Let's don't tell them. So I know that if I give him an inverted minor raise, that 2 no trump or 3 no trump is going to come out of his box, depending on how good his hand is. He does not like to use these Q bids at all, but I've decided. Do we occasionally go for a number? Absolutely. But without giving clues to the opponents as to what suit to lead, we sometimes get some very nice results when other people have stopped short of 3 no trump. This is that old risk reward. How aggressive do you want to be? Question. And that's up to you and your partner to decide. So you can either use inverted minors, bidding your stoppers up the line as I described initially, or you can use 2 no trump as opener's rebid to show stoppers in both majors, but denying a stopper in the other minor. After all, if the opener had stoppers in all the unbid suits, he would bid 3 no trump most likely. Or you can do like my one partner and I do and just bid the game. Just bid the game. Yes.
Could you say a little bit more about partial stopper? What would be an example?
A partial stopper typically is something like a minor honor with, in case you have the queen, you have 2 with it. It's a guarded queen, basically. Notice though, when you're bidding and you're looking around for no trump in a contested auction, where you have competitive bidding, queen and 2 small is not a stopper if the opponents have bid and raised that suit, because you can't guarantee that queen is going to be safe. Ace may be in one hand and queen in the other, and you can very often end up not having a stopper in that situation. When you have an uncontested auction, though, as most inverted minor auctions are, queen and 2 little ones is considered a partial stopper. With the right holdings and having the right opponent lead it, then I'm okay. But to be assured of a stopper, I need something else from you. I need an honor that's guarded or at least close to guarded. Like Jack third would be considered something that would go along with queen third, because we have the queen and the jack together. Or it might be king doubleton in partner's hand. That's considered a stopper, but boy, do I like to have an extra card when I have a king. So you can define a partial stopper as if your partner asks for or shows you a partial stopper, what you have agreed that you need to bid 3 no trump. Jack doubleton might be acceptable in many situations. It'll push out one of the high honors. Definitely. So Jack Doubleton might be acceptable to you and your partner, but other partnerships may say, no, I would like to have Jack 10 third, or I would like to have King third if I have a partial stopper. Bear in mind that Jack third might be a partial stopper. So King third opposite that is generally considered adequate. It makes me nervous to play hands that have non-touching honors in them that are in effect broken tennises, because I'm not that great at deciding which opponent has the ace and which one has the queen. I like for the opponents to lead that suit for me. But whatever you and your partner decide constitutes a partial stopper. You may say, no, I don't want queen third. Most people consider queen third as to be a partial stopper. And what that means is it just needs a little additional boost from your partner's hand. If your partner has 3 small in the suit, then better not do it. Better not do it. You may have 6 cards, but that doesn't mean that you can stop a run of that suit. That is the basic definition of a stopper. So.
Thanks, Susan. Another question. You said that the inverted minors are alertable. What about once you get started and you've made those alerts, are these bids showing stoppers also alerted?
If you wanted to be really, really conscientious, with the first one, the partner of, well, that would be opener. The responder might want to say that shows a stopper only. Most people who are familiar with inverted minors know what that means, but it's always courteous and certainly the ethical thing to do to make that announcement.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Responder's rebid. When he has only a limit raise, after opener bids a new suit at the 2 level showing a stop, with a minimum balanced hand and all unbid suits stop, he just bids 2 no trump, not 3. That's the clue that he has only a limit raise. He can rebid 3 of openers minor, denying stoppers in the all unbid suits. He can bid a new suit showing a stopper, or if you've agreed to use splinter bids, he could splinter. But that is by partnership agreement only. I don't know very many partnerships who use them. They're useful when there's a slam available, but slams don't come up all that often, as I'm sure you've noticed. Now, what do we do if we have a really, really good hand and partner has indicated strength as well, and we think we might have a minor suit slam? I think all of you have probably noticed, or maybe you've thought about it and realized that using 4 no trump to ask for key cards in the minor suit has the issue that game in the minors at the 5 level. And let's say our suit is clubs, and our fearless opener here bids 4 no trump, and his partner bids 5 diamonds. And he says, oops, we're off some key cards here. Well, now he has to bid 6 clubs. He's forced to 6 clubs. The problem with using Roman key card Blackwood when you're interested in a slam in a minor suit is the lack of space, the lack of the ability to stop short of slam. This happens a lot. You find yourself bidding what you know is a totally unmakeable slam. So many people have solved that problem by using 4 of that major as ace asking. In other words, 1 club, 2 clubs, 4 clubs. Show me key cards, partner, and use 1430 responses. This is by partnership agreement only, or 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, 4 diamonds. This is one of the possibilities for things that you can use that don't get you so stinking high when you're trying to find a minor suit slam. Don't worry about adding this at this point. I mention it only because this is something to consider if you've decided to use inverted minors and you get some more experience. You will probably want to look into using, this is called minor wood instead of regular Roman key card. So, couple of additional bids that you may choose to use or not as you see fit. A lot of people prefer to use this first one rather than inverted minors. I personally like inverted minors, but everybody gets their own opinion. A while back, there was an extension of inverted minor raises developed that became very popular. I think it had been around for a while. It was just kind of rediscovered. It's known as Criss-Cross. And the single raise guarantees 12 or more high card points and is intended as an absolute game force. Many people use Criss-Cross as the game force and inverted minors as showing a limit raise. Or the way you show an invitational hand of 10 or 11 points is to jump to the 3 level, or well, to jump in the other minor. It's the 3 level only when you've opened a diamond. So 1 club, 2 clubs is game forcing. 1 diamond, 2 diamonds is game forcing. 1 club, 2 diamonds. Notice that's a jump. It says I'm invitational. I have club support. I have an invitational hand. Are you strong enough that we might be able to play in a game? Same thing, 1 diamond, 3 clubs. Notice we're already at the 3 level, but that should be all right. We have an opening hand opposite an invitational hand. The direct raise here of the minor promises opening values are better. These 2 on the right here show hands that are worth a limit raise in opener's minor. It's largely a matter of choice. On the eastern seaboard, you'll find that people prefer Criss-Cross, but this bid, 1 diamond, 3 clubs, takes up a lot of bidding space. So that to me makes it less desirable. But whichever way you decide to go, the bidding sequences for opener don't change all that much. And I like inverted minors because it keeps the bidding at the lower level when you have a strong hand. Remember, we have good hands, we go slowly. It's when we have preemptive hands, in other words, big fits, few points, that we jump and take up bidding space. Now, the flip-flop is another modification. I don't know anybody who uses flip-flop. This is a bit of a modification to the Jordan 2 no trump bid that's involved when the opener's left-hand opponent doubles. It reverses or flip-flops the meanings of 2 no trump and the jump raise. So a response of 2 no trump is now preemptive and 3 of the minor is invitational. The whole idea behind this is to avoid having the weak hand play it by bidding no trump first. That means that the lead comes through the stronger hand where those hanging kings may be and up to the weaker hand. You generally want to avoid that if you can. That's one reason that a lot of people don't like flip-flop, but it's out there if that's what you want to use. So 1 club, double, 3 clubs shows the limit raise. 1 club, double, 1 heart or 1 spade is your normal 4-card major suit. 1 club, double, redouble says I don't have a 4-card major and I don't have 5 cards in your suit either, but I have 10 points or more and this hand belongs to us. 1 club, double, 2 clubs is now just that usual single raise because there's a double in there. And then 1 club, double, 2 no trump would now be preemptives. Fewer than 6 points and 5 or more clubs. So after one club or one diamond is doubled, a jump raise is weak. A jump to 2 no trump is shown on the convention card as an invitational or better raise. Over the majors, it's called Jordan, and there's no reason to call it anything else over a minor. When the opening's a minor, it makes sense to invert the meanings of 2 no trump and weak jump raises. That's done with the intention of right-siding a 3 no trump contract. And after a weak jump, 3 no trump is a very unlikely spot. But after an invitational jump, 3 no trump is in the running, definitely in the running. The problem with standard bidding is that after the double and 2 no trump, the minor suit invitational jump, remember Jordan, 3 no trumps played from the wrong side. The declarer will be the one who might have a singleton. And we would prefer to have the hand with king third, for instance, or king doubleton, especially, having the lead come up to it. Unless you and your partner are very serious, you're experienced, and you're really committed, set aside Criss-Cross and flip-flop. I don't know anybody who plays flip-flop. I don't think it's anything that you need to worry about adding. And the more complicated you make your card, the more likely you are to make a mistake. So my recommendation is look hard at inverted minors, but the other two should be completely optional upgrades after you've been playing together for 10 or 15 years and you trust each other and you are tolerant of each other's mistakes. So definitely inverted minor raises are a good thing to add, but these other two I just included for your information. You may run into people at a tournament who use them, and it's always helpful to at least have something of an understanding of what the opponents are using. I find alerts helpful, but it doesn't always help me realize how that affects me and my subsequent bidding or play. If I'm at least familiar with a convention, then it's easier for me to figure out. So thank you all for coming this morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And we'll see you next week with a session on Q bids if I can get it finished.
Thanks, Susan. One other question that came into the chat was differentiating between a splinter and a stopper at the 3 level.
Well, generally, because you have used the inverted minor raise and you've started at the 2 level, if you bid a new suit at the 3 level and it is a jump, it's a splinter. A splinter bid is always a jump.
Okay. So
that would be the main way you would do it, because otherwise you can show the stopper at the 2 level usually. And if you can't, then you wouldn't jump to show. If you have to show the stopper at the 3 level, it wouldn't be a jump.
Thank you.
You bet.
Susan,
Yes.
when you use Jordan, first of all, is that alertable?
Yes.
Okay. The second one is, I thought you said that's a limit raise or better over a minor, but would you need 5 clubs to do that?
I would say so.
Okay.
With clubs, I would prefer to have 5. Statistics show that most of the time when opening bidders bid 1 club, they have 4 in their hands. But soon as I assume that and use Jordan or some other limit raise promising 5 in it, my partner only had 3 and he's stuck in a 4-3 fit and muttering under his breath at me. This is a matter for partnership discussion. I know I say that a lot, but there are really a lot of things that you should talk over with your partner about. Are you comfortable with my using a bid that shows a limit raise with only 4 when you've opened a minor suit? And if you agree yes, well, then if it doesn't work one time, nobody should get upset. That is your partnership agreement. And sometimes things are not going to work out. but then there's always the next game. And when it does work out, everything's good. And if you're happy with your results on what you've agreed on, then stick with it.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Anybody else have a quick question?
I have a question. It's Gail.
Hi, Gail.
I've often learned that or heard that a splinter is a double jump.
It depends on the context.
Okay.
Splinters by opener often are not a double jump. The splinter bid that's used by responder when his partner has opened usually one of a major, but sometimes one of a minor, are a double jump. Jumps by the splinter by responder is a double jump, but splinters by opener are different in two regards. Number one, they promise a game going hand, which means that the opener has to have that maximum opening bid that's just under the 2 club opening level. He has enough to force the game, even though you've only promised 6 points. The other thing is that he and that lets out a lot of splinters because opener doesn't have that much. And you have to remember that there's already been some bidding space taken up. So often the splinter jump by opener is only a single jump. And that is because splinters are 1 level above the forcing bid. I know that seems, I'd need a whiteboard and some diagrams to show you what that means, but you can recognize a splinter that way when it's 1 level above the forcing bid. For instance, if your partner opens a heart, you really don't have a need for the 4 club or 4 diamond bid at all when he's opened a heart. And that means that the jump to the 4 level is the splinter, simply because the other bids in the middle there, the 3 level is the limit raise. So we have to jump to the 4 level. So maybe I can prepare something that will help you with that, but that's the way you recognize a splinter bid. There are such things as mini splinters. There are all kinds of splinters, but you're absolutely right. The splinter by responder, which is the most common one, and the one that if people are going to confine themselves to only one, that's the one they play. It is a double jump, promising game-going values, 9 to 11 high card points usually, and 4 card support, and a singleton in the suit you bid.
Hi, this is Susan. Thanks for watching this video today. Most of these videos come from our free bridge lessons that we present on Zoom every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you'd like to join us for those lessons, you can email us at the address shown below and we'll send you the link. If you can't attend the lessons, then feel free to subscribe to our channel and you'll be notified when there is a new one added. Again, thanks for stopping by and we hope to see you soon.